If somebody wants to take the vaccine, let them. It's their choice.
Where's Patrick?
Driving?
If I don't want to take it, I'll be damned if I'm told I have to take it. We're being told now that we're going to need passports. And of course,
Over here.
who's
I have a perfect time for
I
this.
got
So, why in the world, and you can talk to people that say we should always have masks on. We should always have no right, but we have to get the vaccine. We've been told this. And what, but you have to say, why are you telling me if I'm not telling you? I don't walk in front of places. So if you're telling me this place was to open, and they said you're not allowed in, well, what is this? As I keep coming back to this, and I don't want to say I predicted the future, but I'm going to just do it, and then you can play it back. This is called the public sidewalk. When businesses start telling all of the people that have decided, hey, let me wait until this leaves the experimental phase. Let me see what goes on, and let me see the numbers. Let's see if there's an uptick in fatalities from this. They're going to line in front of the businesses that accept passports, and the only way in is to get through a sea of us unvaccinated psychopaths. Now, we're not going to do anything, but you're going to be scared because you can't come through the unvaccinated people. But the thing is, good old SI Live posted the other day, 246 cases, I believe it was in Michigan. 3 people died. All were fully vaccinated for over 14 days.
0.8% of the people that got vaccinated that day. That's still higher than the death rate.
So you look at it, mathematician to the right. So you look at it and you say, listen, if you want to take that chance, or if you have a high risk, or you're really old, they want to give it to your children.
It's even worse if you have a high risk.
But it's your right to take it if you'd like.
Old people could die from the vaccine. My mother died 8 days after she got it.
It's happened more, and more than you can imagine. And do they even do autopsies in some of the cases? No.
Fantastic.
No footprint. But you could go again, they're doing it in front of you. The plausible deniability. If you go to cdc.gov, there's a part of the website, I believe it's called, and I can't pronounce it right because it's weird, VAERS. You can put in what vaccination, what reactions happened, and they can download it. But you can only put in a small amount of dates because there's so many reactions that it'll say, we can't fill up more than 25,000 columns or something along that line.
1% gets reported, too.
That's right.
The doctors are not even reporting it.
Who wants to report their own mistakes? That's admitting you can be
Well,
sued.
they can't be sued because when you take an experimental vaccine, you're fine.
You're volunteering.
There's the report in the streets.
And we might not know for 10 to 15 years.
Next 5 years.
This is the real world. I found out about some awful stuff. I don't know if I consider Tuskegee. Does anyone
Tuskegee
experiment?
Oh, yeah.
It shows how the media really keeps your eyes shut. The most awful crap I've ever heard in my life affected the African American community.
That's right.
Holy crap. Holy crap is all I can say. Look it up. So we're going to have some people speak. And I would like to give out a big shout out to the NYPD. I always like to say, since day one, they have essentially been on our side. Because the one group, the New York City Sheriff's Department, all like 135 of them. They're literally their only job at this point. They can't evict people. Is literally to follow Danny Presti and Keith McElharney around. That's our tax dollars are worth. At least they give them something to do. So we're gonna put some music on. We're gonna have some speaking. Everybody, post this up. This street should be packed.
Yeah.
Because, and I've said this and I've said this and I've said this 1,000 times over. If you let them take a little more and a little more and a little more, you won't even remember who you were just a few months ago. If I went back in time and asked anybody in this crowd, we're going to go fast forward 15 months into the future. The governor murdered a lot of people and fixed the numbers. He's also sexually harassing a bunch of women.
No, he wouldn't do that.
We can't go into any businesses without tissue paper on our face because we might die 0.01% of the time. There's also this vaccine that plays with your RNA. You can't sue if it kills you or if anything happens or if you develop lymphoma in 5 years. Would you believe this is the world you're living in now? No. But so many people accepted it that it's normal to them now. Can't go back. So my big ask for you all is to ask your family members. We all have certain family members and friends that they think we're crazy people. Ask them to write down how far they're willing to let this get before they say, okay, our freedoms are being trampled on. Because in 4 or 5 months, they're probably going to be chasing you out of their house saying you're going to kill the whole family because you didn't get a vaccine. While meanwhile, they're shedding a new variant that's created from their vaccine because they're all able to carry it. Logic hurts sometimes, but keep pushing it. Did anybody catch the video that Max put up today? So that was my question. That was my question when they first, this is the second time they're reissuing stuff from this, what was it, December 5th or 6th?
6.
Okay, so 4 months later, this is the second occurrence. Now they tacked on new ones for Danny and they finally got Keith today. My question is, sometime in late December, Danny texted me a picture, all of them were dismissed, as per the court. It's like a double jeopardy thing, but they might have some loophole that they could come around and reissue this. I don't think any of it's going to stand. It was never going to stand to begin with. However, as this city has chronically done, as it dipped into whatever the hell this version of the city is, what's the exact term? They hung you guys out to dry and people can sue you directly. What's the term?
Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity. So you used to say, okay, something horrible happened, you sue the NYPD and it goes through the city or something like that if something horrible was to happen. Now, you can sue the actual police officer. I find this very strange on multiple levels, but when they put things out that make zero sense, what eventually happens is it bites them in the ass. This happens over and over again. So, Danny failed to mention this, but there's somebody that always writes your summonses. Who is that?
Sheriff LeBlanc.
Sheriff LeBlanc. That's right, Sheriff, I know you're watching. So, Sheriff LeBlanc is going to be getting sued by Danny and Keith. Now, I have a question to Sheriff LeBlanc. When Facito tells you to do what you do, and you just keep going because the person above Facito, when does the suing stop? Because he's going to sue Facito, Facito's going to sue de Blasio's going to sue Cuomo, and the logic loop will never end. Because right now, everybody is doing Gestapo-like activity. I'm knocking on a door, and you go in there, you go to prison. For what? For what? Because somebody made an arbitrary mandate that I could disprove with science? That's why? So you can't eat? It makes no sense, but let the lawsuits rain.